Today I'm just going to take a moment to answer some questions in Topaz Studio about using layers as well as some luminosity masking. But let's orient a bit first because I want to have a look at areas of the interface we're going to be using. This is the adjustment panel on the left. So under adjustments we have all sorts of things to select from the free 10 basic things that come with Topaz Studio to the Pro package below. And each one of those can be added and stacked as layers. They are acting like smart layers and appear from top to bottom as opposed to Photoshop, which goes from bottom to top. But they are smart layers, so you can go back and tweak something that you've used before and it will show through. You can even reorder those layers. But on the left side, we have the effects panel. The effects panel contains, as the name implies, an effect such as we can take a basic correction, and that basic correction effect is a collection of adjustments that are preset to certain values. So here the remove noise is set to 0.25, the color noise increase, dehaze strength of 10, basic adjustment with so clarity tweak, shadow tweak, saturation increase, and precision contrast. So you can see that if one clicks on the left panel effect, it drops the adjustments with their presets into this right adjustment panel. The big caution is, let me reset this back to where we started. If I were to make some bold adjustment over here, like so, but then I come over and click on an effect, it will erase whatever work I've done before on the right and replace it with new adjustments. So if you want to make an adjustment such as this and then add basic correction to it, should first apply that adjustment that you want to retain, then go in and add the effect, which is again a collection of predetermined preset adjustments. Okay, so again we'll reset this and we'll eliminate that step. Also, under each adjustment, let's take something like a digital frame. There is a preset available. So that just then adjusts all the sliders to a predetermined selection of slider positions, texture effects, etc., that might be under an individual adjustment. So let's see about layers though. So if we start out with something like a basic adjustment and say, you know, looking at the histogram, it looks a bit dark. Let's bring up the exposure. And now I want to adjust the clarity perhaps a little bit here. Or I can save that for later with precision adjustment. I might adjust my black level and my white level and say, oh, okay, I'm done with that one, but I want to work in layers. So I can just go on and say, well, now I do want to add clarity to it with precision contrast, I can click on adjustment and go down to precision contrast. And if I slide this bar up, I can see that my basic adjustment is still there. So let's say I want to try one of these presets with high detail, and then I can make some readjustment here, tone it down a little perhaps. But I want to go back to basic adjustment perhaps and adjust the black level down. I can still do that. So again, they act as smart layers. All right. I can add precision detail. I'm going to make this even a little bolder. And that may be pretty good, or I might say, let's do something with edges. Adding, but I want to tone this down. So I'm going to just adjust this layer opacity, because if I use the opacity adjuster down here, it's going to take all those adjustments that we've compiled thus far and as a group take them down. So I still haven't hit apply at all, and I've been working in layers. So let's go ahead and apply that just so that we can do something dramatic with a luminosity mask. And let's once again perhaps bring up basic adjustment and say that, you know, I want to darken just these dark areas. I'm going to pull up a mask, click on Luma, and I'm going to choose one of the darker areas here. And you can see that it's selected in black, the dark areas. By the way, if the histogram is in your way to see what's going on with the menu here, you can shrink it by using the arrow at the top, bring it back, hide it. But I want to adjust this luminosity perhaps a little more towards the dark end, so I'm just going to bring that down. And now you can see that what's black is becoming less and less in the picture. I want to select mostly just the darkest areas, and I can even bring that range down further. And now, if I want, I can tweak that further by clicking on this adjustment gearbox and really selecting harder this area. And I'm done with this mask, but I don't have to click done. I can just go down to my adjustment and say, oh, but you know what I do want to do? I want to darken the dark areas, and right now they're black, so any adjustment I make will affect everything but those areas. So I have to invert that mask. And now you can see what's white will be darkened if I am doing a darkening thing. And so let's just try black level first. And so I start bringing down my black level. If I bring it down all the way, you can see a little too far. And maybe bring up the shadows a little so that I'm putting it into a contrasty kind of look here. And see the before and the after in those dark areas. So it's giving more drama to the steps, more drama to the arch. If I feel that maybe that's too much on the stairs, I can either change density in my mask, or I can take a brush to my mask, such as this brush setting here, and say, you know, I don't want it to be quite that dark on these steps here. And make them gray instead of white. And get a more subtle look while preserving full effect on the underside of this arch. So that's a quick look at a luminosity mask. Similarly, I could add another basic adjustment level and say, now I want to work on the brightest areas and make them lighter. And so I'm going to again click on the mask and pick up perhaps these brighter areas here. And again, say, adjust the luminosity to the brighter area, narrow the range. And come down and maybe play with a couple of the settings here. Again, I have to invert this though. Keep forgetting about that, but with that luminosity mask, make sure you then, after you get this selection, that you invert it. And to show you what I've done, I'm going to click on and off. So there's with the luminosity mask for the black level and a second luminosity mask for the bright levels. And then we can apply that. And if you're done, you're done. All right, so that's a quickie.